Hi, everyone. Before we get started on today's episode, I would like to remind you to go over on Substack and give me a follow over there. We dive deep into the world of wellness, work, business, and everything in between, from the latest in fitness, nutrition, to the challenges of motherhood to managing stress. I cover it all as we explore ways to enhance your physical health, nourish your mind, juggle the demands of modern life. Whether you're looking for a burst of inspiration or practical tips to overhaul your routine, you're in the right place. Let's get started on this journey together. I'm your host, Nikki Lanigan, and this is Fit, Fun, and Frazzled. Welcome back, everyone, to Fit, Fun, and Frazzled. I'm your host, Nikki, and today I'm talking about one of my absolute favorite things to practice at the end of the year. I seriously have been doing this probably since 2015, 2016, doing it with my kids since they were really little, and that is a vision board. If you asked me one end of the year ritual that I love and look forward to, it is actually vision boarding. And my birthday is in December too, so I can kind of do like revisiting the year and looking forward and goal setting, planning for the new year all at the same time. My birthday, vision boarding, manifesting, whatever you want to call it, like all in December. And my birthday just happens to be around that time. So it's kind of pretty cool how I could look at it that way. Before we get started on today's episode, though, I have a birthday in December. So every year in the past, since I turned 40, I would do 40 things to live by, or in business and in life. And I would create new ones each year, change some of them, delete some of them, add some new ones. I didn't feel inspired to do that this year. It's your mid 40s, 47, 48, 49, your late 40s. And I'm turning 47 in December. And I'm having a really, really hard time turning 47. I've just been having a hard time lately. I feel like I'm not as far as I should be at 47. I don't feel as successful as I should be. This has been a really hard year for me with that, not feeling successful enough, not feeling like I should be where I would think I would be at late 40s. But then I'm having another hard time, really hard time with having a senior in high school, about to graduate high school, going through all that, going away to college. So it's like a big tsunami of just what is going on right now. How I'm kind of trying to shift. I'm allowing myself to feel discouraged. I am. I'm allowing myself to feel everything. But also, how I'm kind of shifting is, do you know how many people, unfortunately, don't get along with their families, don't get along with their in laws, don't live by their family, don't live by their in laws, maybe have no one and they're by themselves. So then I look and say, wow, I'm really lucky. I live literally walking distance to my parents, both of my parents. I live walking distance to my sister and my brother-in-law and my little nephew. I get along with my in-laws so much so that both of my sister-in-laws are my good friends. We're all friends. So, and when my mother-in-law was still, she's since passed, but we were so close. So I'm so lucky. I'm so blessed with that. Have all of my close friends from high school and elementary school, middle school. I'm still in contact with, whether that's through social media or texting here and there or calling here and there. I'm still close with my close friends from high school. A lot of us still live by each other and we still get together, not as much as we used to because our kids are older and they're in every sport imaginable, but we try to. So I look at it that way. So while I am having a hard time turning a year older this year for some reason, the last time I had a hard time turning an age was from 19 to 20 because I wasn't a teenager anymore. And I remember I was at college, and I went to a hockey game and I got home and my roommates and other people surprised me because they knew I was having a really hard time getting into my 20s, and I felt like I was an adult and had to grow up and that kind of thing. But trying to be here, be present and stuff. So let's get back to the vision board episode and how we can actually feel into the new year of what we want. If you asked me, what is one thing I love sharing with people besides working out and fitness and meditation, it would be vision boarding. I've done a lot of workshops in the new year and even in December about vision board and goal setting. And I really love it. It's something that you can tangibly do. And it's not because it looks pretty. It's not because it just looks pretty or it's something fun to do or scroll Pinterest and cut out magazine pictures. But it's because when it's done with intention, actual intention, it can become so much more than a collage. It could become a mirror of who you are becoming in the new year. It could become a vehicle for stepping forward into something new in life that you actually want to feel and live. So, in this episode today, I'm going to talk about and explain what a vision board really is, talk about where the idea came from, and the science behind why vision boards and goal setting work. I'm going to share my exact step by step process for creating a 2026 vision board. I'm going to walk you through how to connect your board to a deeper desire and show you how to activate your board so it becomes a living part of your daily life in 2026. So at the end of this episode, I'll leave in my show notes a link where you can do a future self meditation to elevate your energy and really anchor into your 2026 vision. So if you want to pause this episode, go do that meditation or listen to this whole episode, do the meditation before you actually create your vision board. You can also go grab a notebook or just use your notes in your phone, that app there on your phone. Or sometimes I just like to use my phone and email myself notes too. So, however you want to listen to this and you feel guided, sounds amazing to me. So, I want to get started with the basics. A vision board is a visual representation of your desires, your intentions, and the version of you are growing into. It is a collection of images. It could be a collection of words, colors, symbols that reflects how you want to feel and what you're calling in. People have been doing their own versions of vision boards for a really long time. So artists have always pinned inspiration to their walls. Athletes and performers use mental imagery to see their performance before they do it. Writers keep mood boards. Spiritual traditions have long used symbols, icons, altars, and images to focus their mind and their heart. This idea of visual representation and what matters to you is not new. It's just that now we have other things we can use. We can use Canva, we can use Pinterest boards, we can call those vision boards. We can use a combo of three. So the deeper point is this: what you surround yourself with, you start to move toward. What you repeatedly see, you begin to believe. What you emotionally connect to, you are much more likely to create. So let's talk about the science. I want to talk about how vision boards actually work on the brain and the body. It's not just good vibe, uh, glue pictures together, sprinkle glitter on it, and boom. First, there is something called your reticular activating system, or RAS. Think of it as the filter in your brain. It decides what is important enough to notice. When you are constantly seeing and feeling into the images on your vision board, your brain starts to tag those things as important. So as you move through your day, your attention is a little more tuned into opportunities, to people, to ideas, to possibilities that match the things you put on your board. The RAS is why when you decide you want to look for, say you're leaving your house, tell your kids, let's count how many white cars we see, how many black cars we see. You're going to see a lot. Recently, my husband was looking for a new car, and this car he saw, a used car he saw, he really, really liked. We live in the Cleveland area. We had a big snowstorm. It's been snowy here. So the car he saw was a Porsche Boxster. There's not many convertibles out right now and driving in the snow. He saw tons of Porsche Boxsters out. It's just something that happens, the RAS in your brain. So when you decide, let's count how many white cars, suddenly you see those white cars everywhere. Your brain didn't create more white cars. It just started noticing them. Vision boards work the same way. They train your brain to notice the opportunities, the ideas, the pathways that match what you want to create in your life. Second, your brain is wired to, it loves repetition. It loves repetition. When you see a certain image or statement again and again and again, it creates and strengthens neural pathways. Over time, the idea of living that reality starts to feel less like a fantasy and more like something possible, something familiar to you. Third, your nervous system responds to emotion much more strongly than to logic. So when you look at your board and you feel inspired, you feel calm, you feel excited, grounded, expanded, your body anchors that feeling. Those feelings can then fuel your motivation and your behavior. So a vision board, it isn't magic that you put a car on it and the universe drops the car into your driveway. It's powerful because it focuses your mind, it trains your attention, it anchors that emotion, that energy into you, and it nudges you into more aligned action. And that is where the real transformation happens. If you've been following me for a while, you know when I talk about manifesting, I am telling you, you cannot just sit on the couch and manifest and do EFT tapping or a vision board and think something is just going to happen. If it does, that's just pure luck. You have to take aligned action towards your dreams, your goals, and in this case, your vision board that we're going to work on today. So before we jump into 2026, there's one step I don't want you guys to skip when you make your vision board. So whenever you make it, if you make it today, listening to this episode before December ends, or if you want to do it at the beginning of January 2026. Okay, reflection and celebration. It is really, really easy to constantly move on to the next thing and forget everything you've already lived through in 2025. If you create a vision board from a place of, I'm not doing enough, or my life isn't good enough, nothing works out for me, that energy of the board will feel like you're chasing them, you're grasping for them. You need them to prove that you're not good enough. So always start with the gentle check in of the year we're leaving. So the year you just lived. You can ask yourself, what am I proud of from this past year? So this is where it comes in that I love that my birthday's in December because I can go through what all happened. You can start with January 2025, the January that I already lived through. What happened? Anything good, anything important, anything worth celebrating? Go through each month. What are you proud of from different seasons? Even if you don't want to go month through month, what are you proud of that happened in winter, spring, summer, fall? What did I move through that I didn't think I could handle at the time, but you did? You overcame it. These are also things that you could listen to this episode while we're going through it, and in your phone, or if you're on a computer, take notes on your phone app or email yourself or write it down. Things to ask yourself. Where did I grow? What moments actually felt really joyful, really happy, really peaceful? Was it this summer on vacation you just felt so much joy? And then what did I learn about myself this past year that I just lived through? So all of those, you want to ask yourself all of that. Then I want you to write out a reflection and acknowledge what you're celebrating. Give yourself credit. Celebrate all the wins, the big ones, the small ones, the quiet ones, the loud ones. Everything worth celebrating. Write that all out. So then, when you do all of this first, you are not building a vision board from lack. You are building your vision board from appreciation and expansion. Now, as we step into the heart of creating our 2026 vision board, Most people start with, what do I want? In terms of things, like more money. I want that car, I want that house, I want to drop weight and be able to wear that smaller dress size, have a smaller number on the scale, a specific income, specific job title. That's where most people start. I want that vacation. There's nothing wrong with goals. There's nothing wrong with wanting goals, chasing goals, setting goals, setting intentions. There's nothing wrong with that. But I want you guys to create that feeling. When you say, I want X amount of dollars in my bank account, what feeling does money make you have? If you want more money, maybe you want to feel supported, you want to feel safe, you want to feel free. If you have a certain body goal, maybe it's you want to feel more confident, you want to feel stronger, you want to feel more energized. If you want a relationship, maybe it is you want to feel connected, you want to feel cherished. If it's something like a bigger house or something, what does that feeling create? Could be safety. You want to feel successful, you want to feel worthy. Those are the feelings. So instead of starting with just stuff, we're going to start with the feeling you want. So you can even pause this episode right now, or again, you could write it down, pen to paper, pencil to paper, or use your phone app. I want you guys to ask this now for yourself of how you actually want to feel. How do you want to feel in 2026? Maybe you want to feel grounded. Maybe it's calm. Maybe you want to feel energized. Maybe you want to feel more joyful and creative, expansive. You can even want to feel free or focused. Maybe you want to feel peaceful, powerful, connected. Let a few words bubble up. So don't overthink it. Don't stress about it. So narrow it down if you had a lot to 3. If you only have 1, can you please try for 3 emotions? 3 words that you want to be the core of your 2026 experience. These 3 emotions are going to be the foundation of your vision board. They're like your anchor. Every image, word, symbol you choose should connect back to these 3 feelings. If you can't think of 3, at least 1, okay? I'll give you that. At least 1 feeling. So you want your goals to go into feelings. What is your goal you want? What is that feeling you feel when you have that goal? That is going to be the feelings you want. So if you're more goal oriented and you're thinking, I still like concrete goals, you can absolutely use those, but flip it. So start with the goal. Ask yourself, when I achieve this goal, how do I think I feel? What will that give me on an emotional level? So an example, a promotion, maybe that equals feeling purposeful, respected, and secure. You want to move to a new city. Maybe that equals feeling adventurous, expansive, refreshed. You want to have a consistent fitness or workout practice. Maybe that equals feeling stronger or energized, healthier. So I want you to think of the point being that the feeling is the heart of the vision board. The goal is just one possible pathway to get to that feeling, if that makes sense. So when you build your vision board from the inside out, from feeling into form instead of the other way around, it becomes so much more powerful and so much more aligned with you. Step 2, we're going to choose category. I used to health coach. I used something called the Wheel of Life. And it's basically a circle and it's divided into different categories, different containers of your life. So you can use this. You simply Google Wheel of Life and it would tell you all the different categories. Some of the categories are 1, physical health. Spiritual health is another. Hobbies and fun. I want you guys to think about this because I want you guys to include some of this. I'll get to it in a second. Family, relationship, and love. Another category is career and work. Another category is financial well being. Another category is mental well being, emotional health, creativity, personal growth, and learning. You do not need to include every category. This isn't a school project. Choose one category. You can choose 3 to 5 though, okay? But at least one. I would prefer 3 to 5 when you put it on the vision board. 5 feels too much, that's fine. I like to do career and work for 1, financial wellness 2, mental and emotional health for 3, personal growth and learning and creativity for 4, and then 5 would be family life or hobbies and fun, something like that to use a comparison if you need a comparison or something or ideas. Think about what really matters to you though right now, not what you think should matter, what actually matters. Ask yourself, what areas of my life am I craving more intention and energy towards in 2026? That is also how you can pick your life categories. Circle them, write them down. So, Google if you need help, what the life categories are. Say, Wheel of Life, life categories, or something like that. Then you could circle them or write down 3 to 5 categories that feel most important to you. Step 3 now is finding our images, the fun part, right? So you can gather images, words, symbols that represent how you want to feel, who you are becoming in those categories that I just talked about. You can use magazines, printed images, Pinterest boards, screenshots, Canva mood boards, words or phrases. You just type them out and then print them out. You can actually use real pictures from your own life that you already have energy and feeling behind. The key here is this: the images must make you feel a certain way. They must make you feel something. They should feel inspiring and expansive, but still like you, like they're you, not someone trying to copy and paste something that a life that doesn't actually feel real to you. It feels like fake. It doesn't actually fit you. If you put something on your board and it makes you feel small, pressured, or fake, it does not belong there. You want your nervous system to feel like it's a yes, like, oh my gosh, yes, that feels like me. That feels like where I'm headed. I personally create 3 vision boards. I create a Pinterest vision board, just using Pinterest. I create a vision board on Canva, and then I usually make that my screensaver on my phone and my desktop. And then I create an actual vision board version with poster board and cutting things out from magazines, images I Google and print them out, words and phrases I Google using marker and making it very pretty, and then putting it somewhere that you're going to see regularly. So you absolutely do not have to do all 3 like I do. One is fine, one is great, but I love having it in multiple places just because I love the energy I have when I create them. And like I said, I've been doing them for years now with my kids for years. When we did it in January 2020, we had my daughters had get better at jumps, get better at tumbling. They did all that. I had slow down. Well, we know what happened with 2020. I had slow down. I had start my own business and finally start my podcast. I did all that. And then I had travel more. And we actually did start traveling more when the world opened back up. I'm not saying let's go back to 2020 slow down this, but we did slow down. So step 4, putting it all together with intention now. Now becomes the fun part. You can start building your board. You can get glue, tape, poster board, lay everything out. You could look at your 3 emotions Are they reflected in this before you glue things on? Look at the chosen categories you picked, the containers, the light categories you picked. Are they represented in the pictures you have? You might cluster by category if you want, you can, or you can mix everything together and just glue it wherever you want, or you could do whatever your categories. Top right corner is career, the bottom right corner is money, friends and family, like that. If you follow my friend Lisa Morton, she does her vision boards with feng shui, and it's called a bagua mat. I hope I'm not pronouncing it wrong. And there are specific spots with feng shui where you do put them. So I'll leave a link for her. I think I might have done it in my vision board for 2025. Here's my vision board for 2025 if you're watching the video. So it's in my office. Literally, I didn't just put it here for making this episode. Vacation is on the one side, and then I have no, so I don't think I use the Bagua mat. You can ask yourself before you place each image or glue it down, or if you're using Canva or Pinterest, does this reflect how I want to feel in 2026 or whatever year you're doing it in? If you're re-listening to this and planning a 2027 vision board, does this reflect who I'm becoming? Does this image expand me? Does it feel genuine and aligned? You don't want to do something that feels faked or forced. You might want to add affirmations or phrases too. You could say something like, I feel grounded and energized in my body, creating this vision board right here and right now. I feel deeply supported. I am open to aligned opportunities. I trust who I'm becoming in 2026. My favorite ones: trust, flow, surrender, let go. Peace begins with me. So take your time on this part, cutting, pasting, gluing, using Canva, using Pinterest, using a digital vision board. There's no rush at all. Let yourself enjoy this process. So once your vision board is completed, whether you do it on physical poster board, whether you do it physically on a bulletin or Canva or Pinterest, once that's done and completed, it's not necessarily done. It needs to be activated. This is what I didn't do back when I first started doing it. Activation is when your board shifts from being something you made in one afternoon into something you have a relationship with. So how do you activate it? You place it somewhere you will see every day. So my physical copy is in my office, the back of my desk. When I walk into my office, I see it every single day. On my home screen, just on my home screen, I see this. The one I made on Canva, I see all the time. On Pinterest, the boards are right there. So somewhere you're going to see it daily. You take a few seconds to actually feel into it regularly. So when you see it daily, you actually take a second to pause and feel into it again. You let it remind you of your three core emotions, who you're becoming in the new year. Every morning or a couple times a week, you can look at your board and ask, what would the version of me on this board do today? What is one tiny step I can take today or this week to move me in that direction? And that is when that aligned action comes in. Because here's the thing, you cannot just put things on the board. You cannot just sit back and do nothing. You do not have to hustle, though. You don't have to hustle. You don't have to grind yourself into the ground. but you will be asked to make choices. You can say yes to some things. You could say no to some things. You could show up differently, but you have to take aligned action. Your vision board is the energetic blueprint. Your actions are the bridge to help you walk and get there. So, number six, step six, let your vision board evolve through this coming year. So, through 2026, we grow, we change, we shift throughout the year, throughout a month, even. So, you can make it. You can make it at the end of December, December 2025. You can make it today. You can make it at the beginning of 2026. You made it. But since making the vision board, maybe you grew in a different direction or something changed within you. You are absolutely allowed to update it. You are allowed to physically rip off something, change it on Canva, change it on Pinterest. You can add things throughout the year. You can take things away. You can glue something new on, rip something up that no longer feels aligned or inspired. If you're using Canva and Pinterest, it's a lot easier to update it than on a physical board, but you can even tape something over it if you can't rip it up or something, add layers. You can do a mid-year refresh, take it out after 6 months, check it and see what still feels aligned and inspiring to you. Your vision board is not a contract. It is a living, breathing reflection, evolving of your desires, values, and energy. Your 2026 vision board can be so much more than just a pretty poster board or a pretty screensaver. It is, we're building it from reflection, we're building it from celebration, we're building it from a feeling that who we're becoming. It becomes really more, it becomes so much more powerful, becomes a living tool of intention. So remember, you're not chasing images, you're not chasing magazines cutting out things. We are crafting and cultivating emotion, energy, and the choices behind the images, behind the pretty pictures. If you create a vision board after listening to this episode, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your 3 core emotions for 2026 or what categories you're choosing to focus on in the new year. I would love to see pictures. You can DM me them, you can email me them. And if you want to go deeper, you can listen to this episode again while you're creating your board, or you could go to my show notes, click on the link, and tune into the future self meditation and listen to that before you create your vision board. Listen to it a few times in the rest of 2025. Listen to it a few times in the beginning of 2026 to really ground down the ritual before sitting down and using Canva, Pinterest, or your poster board. Here is to a new year of alignment, clarity, and vision you can actually feel in your body and in your soul. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Fit, Fun, and Frazzled. Don't forget, a new episode drops every Wednesday, a Fit, Fun, and Frazzled podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, comment, leave a review, share it with someone else you think might enjoy this episode. Again, go to the show notes, listen to the future self meditation. Thank you guys so much and have an amazing, happy, healthy, and safe holiday season and a happy, healthy, and safe new year.